afternoon, Pirate fans, and thanks for tuning in for today's first game of the 2006 Chatham Orthopedic Pirate Volleyball Classic. Today being the first game for the Pirates, of course, as they face off against Presbyterian College. The Pirates come in today's contest ranked 4 and 7 overall, just off a long road streak over in the West Coast. They went to Colorado, California, and then finished up in Arizona, and are now back home, sponsoring a tournament that has 12 teams in here. Oops, excuse me, 16 teams in this tournament. So we are going to take a break real quick, and we're going to go into the starting lineups, and we'll be back right here. We're going to go into a video here to meet the Armstrong State University Pirates.
Lauren Good, senior right side hitter from Richmond, Virginia. Stacy Yates, senior setter from Shorewood, Illinois. Leah Strickey, senior middle hitter from Regina, Saskatchewan. Nikki Yates, freshman libero from Shorewood, Illinois.
Kathy Kicksmiller, junior middle hitter from Bloomington, Indiana.
Stacia McCoy, junior libero from Eagan, Minnesota. Gwen Clark, freshman outside hitter from Boulder, Colorado. Tracy Knut, senior middle hitter from Columbus, Nebraska. Rindy Vidovich, junior outside hitter from San Pedro, California. Christina Flores, senior outside hitter from Addison, Illinois. Adriana Miller, senior outside hitter from Rockland, California. Margaret Thornton, junior setter from Hesperia, California. Nikki Tripodi, senior outside hitter from Fresno, California. Rachel Falco, senior right side hitter from Long Beach, California.
All right, hope you guys enjoyed that quick blurb there on meeting the Armstrong State University volleyball team this year. Starters for the Presbyterian College look like this: Julia Haldreth, Rachel Lewis, Courtney Van Dusen, Justine Lanchester, Jody Palmer's the libero, Lauren Mason, and Danielle Gill. We're going to take another break as we get ready for the excuse me just a minute. Oh, never mind. We're not going to take a break for the national anthem. So we're going to get game underway here as the players circle around the net, shake hands, and begin to take their positions as we begin this game. Right now, a couple of stats for you on the Pirates. Tracy Knuth leads the Pirates with 2.98 kills per game and 131 kills in the season. And Christina Flores leads the Pirates with 3.58 digs per game and 143. She is about 60 or 70 away from setting the school record, passing Tracy Fowler. So hopefully she'll be able to do it this weekend in the tournament. We'll bring you more news on that tonight as the Pirates face off again at 7 o'clock. So now as the teams are both set and getting ready to go, we're going to turn to live action now and bring you all the live action, I guess. All right, the officials are checking the lineups, making sure everything is good to go, switching positions here and there. Presbyterians 0-1 on the South Atlantic Conference, and 5-3 to 0-1 in the South Atlantic Conference, and they have the first serve. Knuth passes to Yates. Yates sets up for Christina Flores. She's in point, Pirates. The libero for Presbyterian, number 10, Jody Palmer's checking in now. And Christina Flores back to serve for the Pirates. Presbyterian looks done there as Flores gets a point on the serve there, service safe, and Pirates are up 2-0. Flores back to serve. And the Presbyterian sends it over, and Stacey Yates is unable to get to pass it up there. Let me tell you what the tries to pass it down, unable to, and he goes out of bounds there. Falco up to Canoes. Canoes sends it over. Number 2, number 3, number 4, Danielle Gill. Danielle Gill tips it over. Presbyterian now leads 3-2. Presbyterian back to serve. Canoes passes to Smitke. Smitke back to Canoes. Falco passes to Yates. Yates sets up for Canoes. Miller there. And number 10, the libero, Jody Palmer, hits it way out of bounds. Station McCoy, the libero for the Pirates, checks in now. McCoy puts it in the play. Presbyterian bobbles it around out of bounds there. Point Pirates. Pirates now 4-3. McCoy to serve. Aldrich to Gill. Over to number 11. Mason sends it over. Yates at this. Canoes gets it. Sends it over, and it's wayward and long out of bounds. Point Presbyterian. We're all tied at 4 apiece here. Mason back to serve for Presbyterian. High. Jumping serve there into the net. Point for the Pirates by 4. Margaret Thornton and Mindy Vidovich checking in for the Pirates now. Thornton's back to serve. Miller passes to Thornton. Thornton has it to Flores. Flores sends it over. Number 6 there, Manguson responsible for the point there for Presbyterian. 5-5. Number 10, Jody Palmer back to serve for Presbyterian. Miller to Thornton. Passes it over to Vidovich. Vidovich sends it over. Gets the point and a kill for the Pirates. Point Pirates 6-5. Miller back to serve for the Pirates. Has a mere 8 service aces for the Pirates this season. Gill sends it over. Long out of bounds. Point Pirates. Miller back to serve again. Really Harder goes up for the kill, gets it blocked, and it is a point for the Pirates. Pirates lead 8-5 in game number 1. Palmer unable to control that serve as she passes it right out of bounds. Point for the Pirates. Pirates now lead 9-5 in game number 1 of the 2006 Chatham Orthopedic Classic. And we're going to take a timeout real quick. We'll be right back with you. All right, we're back now as the timeout has been stopped, and Adrian Miller back to serve for the Pirates from that timeout there. Miller has 55 kills, 4 assists, and 8 service aces. As Thornton passes to Vidovich, Vidovich sets up for Miller. Miller sends it over, and Palmer unable to maintain that send. Point for the Pirates. Pirates 10-5 now. Palmer, Mason, over the Holland, goes over and gets it, goes for the kill, and Knus and Vidovich there for the block. Pirates 11-5 on Presbyterian. Presbyterian unable to handle that serve as they pass it out of bounds. Pirates 12-5. Miller, the long serve out of bounds. Point Presbyterian. Number 14, Danielle Gill, back to serve for Presbyterian. Gill sends it short to Flores. Flores passes it to Thornton. Thornton sets up a Vidovich. Vidovich sends it over. Gill. That's it, number 11. Lauren Mason unable to maintain it and control it. And point for the Pirates. Pirates lead 13-6. Knut over the serve. Schmidt at the set to Vidovich. Vidovich sends it over. Miller to Flores. Flores to Vidovich. Vidovich passes it over. Palmer. Number 3. Thornton passes it to Flores. Flores sends it long and out of bounds. Point for Presbyterian Blue Hose, who trail 7-13. Flores passes the court a little too high as number 9 Lanchester is there to drop it right behind Thornton, and a point for Presbyterian. Miller passes to Thornton. Thornton sends it to Knus. Knus sends it over. Number 11, Lauren Mason there with the point for the Pirates. Miller was unsuccessful there with the dig. Miller to Thornton. Thornton to Flores. And then net violation there on the Pirates. Now makes the score 13-10 in the first game. Miller passes to Thornton. Thornton sets up for Schmidtke. Schmidtke sends it long and out of bounds. Point, Blue Hose. Pirates 13, Blue Hose 11. Miller to Thornton. Thornton to Vidovich. Vidovich sends it long and wayward off to the side. And it's point for the Presbyterian Blue Hose. Are now 1 point behind, 13-12. Miller passes it over. Lanchester sends it over. Vidovich there with the dig from Thornton. Thornton to Flores. Flores sends it over. Palmer. Flores to Thornton. To Schmidtke. Number 9, Lanchester there with the attempted block. Ball falls on her side of the floor. Point for the Pirates. Pirates 14, Presbyterian 12. Stacey Yates now in the game for the Pirates. Back to serve. She replaces Vidovich. And this serve goes into the net. Lanchester serves the Pirates. Christina Ford with the dig. Yates with the save. Lauren Good sends it over. Schmidtke with Yates. Yates to Flores. Flores passes it over. And a net violation. I'm not sure what that call was. Going underneath the net or a net violation or something. Anyways, point for the Presbyterian Blue Hose. Now we're tied 14 apiece. Yates over to Miller. Miller gets blocked by Lancaster. Good sets up for Yates. Yates sets up for Schmidtke. Schmidtke's in there. And Gill with the dig. Lancaster with the pass. Miller. Yates. Yates in the middle. Block credited to Schmidt and Flores there with the block, giving Pirates the lead, 15-14. Flores back to serve for the Pirates. Flores is second on the team with 12 service aces. That being said, Flores passes to Yates. Yates over to Miller. Gill with the dig. Mason now with the kill as Knuth is unable to pull that one out of the floor. Lewis back to serve for Presbyterian. Knuth to Yates. Yates over to Miller. Palmer to Gill. And Good's unable to get there in time. The pass over the net falls short, and the point should be Presbyterian. Lewis will now lead the Pirates 16-15. Lewis puts in play. Yates passes to Good. Good sends it back over. Palmer. Knuth to Yates. Yates to Miller. Miller gets this kill and blocked by Danielle Gill and Van Dusen. Point for the Pirates, and it forces Alan Siegel to call a timeout. Head coach Alan Siegel for the Pirates. Pirates trail 15-17 here, and they're coming off a rough road streak as they, took the trip out west, starting in Colorado, California, and then Arizona. They, they were very tired by the end of the trip, was what head coach Alan Siegel told us, is that by the time they reached Arizona, they were just really tired. And that's why they come away with a 4-7 record. And, it's showing that they're a little bit stronger, a little bit more, glad to be home now and glad to be, attending classes and be playing on their home floor, but they're still, working a little bit of kinks here. So, hopefully they'll be able to pull this out against the Presbyterian Blue Hooks. Back from the timeout now. It was a quick timeout for me. 1 minute timeout for the Pirates. Rachel Lewis back to serve for Presbyterian as they lead 17-15. Flores to Yates. Yates to Smith to get the block by number 11, Lauren Mason. Point Presbyterian, 18-15. Lewis back to serve. Put the ball back in play on this serve. Flores with the dig there. Yates does good. Good sends it over. Rachel Lewis here with the set. Nobody's there to send it over, so it's point for the Pirates. As Station McCoy checks in for Schmidt to serve. Pirates 16, Presbyterian 18. Hall there with the wayward pass out of bounds. Point for the Pirates, 17-18 now. Pirates trail by 1. McCoy back to serve for the Pirates. Hall to Lewis. Over to Mason. Yates passes it to Flores. Sends it over. And Mason there sends the ball over long and out of bounds. Point for the Pirates there as Presbyterian's whistled for being in the net. Pirates now lead by 1, 19-18. McCoy sends it over. Palmer to Lewis. Over to Holla. Yates sets up for Knuth. Knuth sends it. And Van Dusen there with the attempted block. Unsuccessful as it goes out of bounds. And causes head coach Chris Belsheath for Presbyterian to take a timeout. And we'll take one with him. right, we're back now from the timeout. As Station McCoy sets up to serve and put the ball in play for the Pirates. Pirates now lead 2018 in game number 1 of the Chatham Orthopedic Classic. Palmer to Lewis, over to Mason. Mason gets a block by Canute. Miller there with the assist and the block. Point Pirates. McCoy to serve the ball for the Pirates. Palmer passes it to Mason. Mason over to Gill. Gill passes it over. Flores to Yates. And Canute with the kill. Oh, excuse me, not a kill. It doesn't count as a point, is it? Canute there sends it over. Palmer passes it over. Good. Sets up for Canute. He tips it over. Palmer passes it to Lewis. Lewis over to Mason. Blocked by Canute. Lewis over to Gill. Gill sends it over. Goes for the strike attempt there. Sends it over. No good as it goes into the net. Point for the Pirates. Pirates now lead 22-18. It's McCoy's back to serve. Flores is long and out of bounds. Point Presbyterian. As number 11, Mason, is back to serve for Presbyterian. High jumping serve. Flores was unable to dig that one out of the ground there. And point for the Presbyterian Blue Hose, who now trail by 2, 20-22. Mason back to put the ball back in play for Presbyterian now, with their high jumping serve. Flores passes to Yates. Yates over to Miller. Miller gets a block by Gill and is unable to redeem himself by passing the ball out of bounds. Point for the Presbyterian Blue Hose. They now trail by 1, 21-22. Mason back to put the ball in play. Flores passes to Yates. Yates sets up for good. Goodson never gets a kill there in the back corner of the floor. Point for the Pirates. Pirates now lead by 2, 23-21. As Yates and Good check out, Thornton and Vidovich come in. Thornton leads the team with service aces with 18. And also with assists with 239. Being said, Howell sends it over to Thornton. Thornton sets up for Canute. Canute sends it back over. Lewis over to Gill. Vidovich passes to Flores, and they get called for double hitting. The Pirates do. Points for the Presbyterian Blue Hose. They now trail by 1, 22-23. Palmer back to serve for the Presbyterian Blue Hose. Short serve. Canute passes to Thornton. Thornton over to Vidovich. Vidovich tips it over. Lewis is there to grab it. Gill over to Howell. Canute and Vidovich there with the attempted block. And it's unsuccessful. As we're now tied 23-23. Palmer back to serve for the Blue Hose. McCoy passes it over. Canute passes it back to Thornton. Thornton over to Vidovich. Vidovich sends it over. Lewis passes it back over. Lewis over to Hallwell. Thornton passes to Vidovich. Vidovich passes to Miller. Miller sends it over long and out of bounds. Point for the Blue Hose, who now lead by 1, 24-23. Palmer back to serve for the Blue Hose. Short serve as the ball goes into the net. Point for the Pirates. All tied at 24 now, as Miller is back to serve for the Pirates. Miller sends a Mason passes to number 9, Lancaster, is unable to do anything with it, and point for the Pirates to now lead 25-24. Miller back to serve. Miller's serve is long and out of bounds. Point for Presbyterian Blue Hose. Gill back to serve for the Blue Hose. Her serve is short and into the net. Pirates lead 26-25. As Tracy Canute steps back to serve. Canute has 6 service aces, 4 assists, and 131 kills. Like I said, she leads the game. She leads the team in kills. Flores passes to Thornton. And Schmidtke there with the send over to Lewis. Lancaster sends it over. Canute there with the dig. And Schmidtke's unable to do anything with it. Point Presbyterian. We're tied 26-26. Hallra back to serve for Presbyterian. Grace to Vidovich. Vidovich right to Gill. Gill unable to do anything with it. Point for Pirates as they lead 27-26. A little confusion there as we had to get the ball from underneath the bleachers here. Yates back to serve for the Pirates as they lead 27-26. Short to Hallra. Lewis over to Lancaster. Lancaster goes up, gets the kill. Schmidtke and Flores are unable to get the block there. Point Presbyterian. We're all tied at 27 now. Lancaster back to serve. Long serve. Knuth passes to Yates. Yates to Falco. Lewis over to Mason. And she gets Flores serving for the Pirates over to Lewis. Lewis over to Van Dusen. Yates over to Miller. Miller something short. Point Pirates. They lead 30-27. Flores back to serve for the Pirates. And that's the game. As Flores serves is bobbled by Presbyterian. And it's a point for Presbyterian. We're going to switch courts here, and we'll be back with game number 2. As the Pirates won that one 29-27. Or 31-27. Welcome back, sports fans. We're live here at the 2006 Chatham Orthopedic Volleyball Classic. First game for the Pirates here in their home opening stint at the Chatham Orthopedic Classic. I'm Jay Carmichael, set here to bring you the action. We just finished game 1. Pirates defeated Presbyterian 31-27 in game number 1. Move on to game number 2. Some first half stats, or first game stats for you. Right now, Adriana Miller leading the team with kills. She has 3. Closely behind her is Randy Vidovich with 2. Good, Flores, Knuth, and Yates all have 1 as well. Schmidtke also up with the top with Miller as 3. Stacey Yates recording 5 assists. Vidovich recording 1, and Thornton recording 3. Knuth and Flores both with 4 digs. Miller with 3. McCoy with 3. And Vidovich and Thornton with 2. Stacey Yates also recording a dig there. Lauren Good hitting a attacking percentage of 200, and Vidovich there with a attacking percentage of 143. Some first half stats for Presbyterian. Julia Hallra for Presbyterian has 1 kill. Lanchester leads Presbyterian with 3 kills. Monduson, Mason, and Gill all have 2. And Rachel Lewis from Presbyterian has 7 assists. Gill follows closely behind with 1. So as we get set for game number 2 here of the match between the Presbyterian Blue Hose and the Armstrong State University Pirates. Officials checking the lineups, making sure everyone's in their correct spots. Starting game number 2 for the Pirates: Thornton, Knuth, Miller, Good, Vidovich, and Schmidtke. Starting for Presbyterian is Hallra, Lewis, Mason, Gill, and Van Dusen. Oh, and Lanchester over there hiding behind a bunch of people. Oh, number 10 Palmer comes in to replace Van Dusen. Thornton back to serve for the Pirates. And game number 2 is underway. Palmer passes to Lewis. Lewis passes to Lanchester. Lanchester gets her attempt blocked by Schmidtke and Good. Point Pirates. Thornton back to serve for the Pirates. Thornton with the long serve, which is in. Palmer there thought it was out of bounds, but the line judge said, no, it's in. It's a point for the Pirates. Pirates lead 2-0. Thornton back to serve for the Pirates. Short service. Palmer unable to pass it to any of her teammates there as it goes out of bounds. Point for the Pirates. Pirates lead 3-0. Thornton with no service aces in the first game. Believe it or not, Miller actually led the team in the first game with 3 service aces. As Presbyterian's unable to dig that ball out of the ground there. Point for the Pirates, 4-0. Thornton back to serve. Palmer passes it long over the net. Schmidtke sends it right back over, and number 2, Hallra, is unable to pull the ball out of the ground there as a point for the Pirates, 5-0. Thornton. Palmer unable to dig it out of the ground there. And Lewis gets called for double hitting. Point for the Pirates. They lead 6-0. And Presbyterian takes a timeout. We'll take one with them.
Is it a tube or is it like a little sample?
It might not. They might not have it then.
All right, we're back from the timeout now as Thornton gets ready to serve in game number 2. Pirates lead 6-0 in game number 2 on Presbyterian of the 2006 Chatham Orthopedic Volleyball Classic. Thornton's serve goes long and out of bounds. Presbyterian gets their first point of game number 2. Lanchester back to serve for Presbyterian. Knuth passes to Thornton. Thornton sets up to Vidovich. Vidovich sends it over. And number 2, Hallra there with the dig. The dig goes long over the net for the Pirates, or for Presbyterian. Presbyterian now It's their second point of the game. They lead Auxiliary behind 6-2. Lances over the serve. Vidovich with the attempted dig as it goes out of bounds. Point Presbyterian. Presbyterian behind by 3. Manchester serve there is in the back corner of the court there as they get another point. They're behind by 2 now, 6-4. Manchester back to serve now for the Blue Hose. Vidovich passes it over, and number 11 Mason is there to send it back over and gather a point for Presbyterian. Manchester passes it to Canoes. Canoes over to Miller. Miller to Vidovich. Lewis over to Mason, and Miller unable to handle the rocket that Mason sent over. It's point for the Presbyterian Blue Hose. We're all tied here, 6-6. Manchester back to serve for the Blue Hose. Canoes got tripped up there on the floor, unable to handle the serve. Point Presbyterians, they're ahead now by 1. Manchester. Canoes passes it to Good. Good gets whistled for a double hit. Point for Presbyterians. They now lead by 2, 8-6. Manchester back to serve for the Blue Hose. Canoes passes to Thornton. Thornton sets up for Good. Good sends it over. Still unable to dig that one out of the ground. The Pirates get their point back and the serve as they're behind by 1 now, 7-8. Vidovich back to serve for the Pirates. Vidovich sends it short. Lewis over to Mason. Mason gets it blocked by Good. All passes, sends it over to Canoes. Canoes sets up for Thornton. Thornton sets up for Good. Good sends it over right in the feet of Gill. Gill unable to pull that one out. And the Pirates now tie the game 8-8. Vidovich. Mason over to Lewis. Back over to Mason. Vidovich there with the attempted dig as it goes out of bounds. Point for Presbyterian. 9-8. Lewis back to serve for Presbyterian. Vidovich passes to Thornton. Thornton sets up for Miller on the far left side. Gets it blocked by Gill. Goes out of bounds. Point for the Pirates. We're now tied 9-9. McCoy checks in for Schmidtke. McCoy serve is short and into the net. Point for Presbyterian. Mason back to serve for Presbyterian. Miller over to Thornton, back over to Miller. Gets a block by Gill. And gets a move. Gill gets whistled for being in the net. And Yates and Falco check here for the Pirates. Yates serves over to Mason. McCoy over to Yates. Yates. Canoe sends it over just real short. Lewis over to Gill. Gill sends it over and out of bounds. Point Pirates. The Pirates now lead 11-10. Stacey Yates sets up to serve for the Pirates. Lewis. McCoy passes to Yates. Yates over to Miller. Miller sends it over. And it is a point for the Presbyterian as Miller's whistled for being in the net. Game now tied at 11. Palmer back to serve for Presbyterian. Miller to Yates, back over to Miller. Gill passes it to Colorado. Gets a block, her attempt blocked by Falco. Point for the Pirates as Miller steps back to serve for the Pirates. Palmer passes it low off of Miller serve. Pirates now lead 13-11. Miller. Palmer. Over Lewis, back over to Gill. Stacey Yates passes to Falco. Falco sits in for Newt. And Falco gets listed for double hits. And this is part of the frustration the Pirates have had this beginning season here. Head coach Alan Siegel was in my office talking to me and said that the Pirates just were making mental mistakes that they really had never made before. And he was kind of surprised considering we have, 7 returnees at some of the mistakes they were making. Now freshman Nikki Yates checks in, replacing Station McCoy to libero for the Pirates. As Gill is back to serve for Presbyterian as well. I'm tied 13-13 here. Vidovich passes it over the net, and Lanchester is whistled for being in the net. Point for the Pirates as they lead 14-13. And Knuth is back to serve. Nikki Yates comes out, and Schmidtke replaces her. Schmidtke sends it over, and Lanchester unable to handle it. Goes out of bounds, points for the Pirates. Canoes back to serve for the Pirates, who are ahead 15-13. Lewis over Lanchester. Stacey Yates and Canoes are there, unable to make a play on it. Point Presbyterian. Number 2. Julie Holler back to serve for Presbyterian, who trail by 1, 15-14. Vidovich passes to Falco. Falco over to Miller. Miller sends it over. Lanchester goes to attempt to block by Vidovich and Schmidtke. And Mason's whistled for being in the net, point for the Pirates. Margaret Thornton and Lauren Good checking in for the Pirates. As Margaret Thornton lines up way back to serve for the Pirates. Thornton with the long serve. And it's long and out of bounds. Point for the Presbyterian Blue Hoods. Manchester over to Vidovich. Vidovich passes to Thornton. Thornton over to Miller, passes it over. Vidovich and Schmidtke there with his block on Van Dusen's attempt. Point Pirates. Vidovich back to serve for the Pirates. Lewis. Passes it to Mason, who sends it over. The block off of Canoes from Good goes out of bounds. Point Presbyterian. Presbyterian now trails by 1, 17-16. Gordon to Miller. Miller sends it over to Gill. Gordon passes it to Good. Good over to Vidovich. The block. Miller with the save here. Lauren Good with the block. It's out of bounds. We're tied now, 17 all. Vidovich over to Schmidtke. Schmidtke over to Miller. Gill. Over to Mason, sends it on. Canoes with the save there. Good. Over to Schmidtke. Schmidtke sends it over. Gill. Hollera. Vidovich passes to Thornton. Thornton over to Miller. Miller sends it long. Out of bounds. Point Presbyterian, now lead by 1. Lewis puts him over the park. Vidovich passes to Thornton. Thornton sets up for Miller. Miller sends it long. Off the fingertips of Palmer. Point for the Pirates. Pirates tied it up at that point there. All tied now, 18-18. Schmidtke sets up to serve for the Pirates. Schmidtke with the long serve, long and out of bounds. Point Blue Hose. This freshman Nikki Yates, who is sister to junior setter Stacy Yates, comes in. Oh, excuse me, not junior, senior. Stacy Yates is a senior this year. Junior last year. Her younger sister, Nicole Yates, is now in the game. Nikki Yates passes to Gordon. Gordon over the Canoes. Canoes gets a block. Number 15 there with the 15 Miller there with the recovery, but is unable to get it up and over the net as the Blue Hose lead 20-18. Mason, long and out of bounds. Point Pirates, 2019. Stacy Yates and Falco checking the game now. Both Yates sisters are in the game now. Stacy Yates sets back to serve with her sister, Nikki Yates, just to the left of her. This is short to Mason. Mason over to Miller. Miller drops it right over the top of the net for point for the Pirates. We're all tied at 20 now. Mason to Lewis. Hollera sends it long out of bounds. Point for the Pirates. Pirates now lead 21-20. Stacy Yates back to serve for the Pirates. Stacy Yates' serve is right there on the edge of the court. Point for the Pirates. Presbyterian didn't think so, but both the line judges did. Pirates now lead by 2, 22-20. Stacy. Jason's along with Lewis. Lewis passes up to number 4. Tail CP for Presbyterian. They don't know what we're doing with it. And we're going to have a timeout on Presbyterian as they're behind 23-20. We're going to take one with them. Oh, we're back from that timeout. And Stacy Yates set to serve as Pirates lead 23-20 over Presbyterian in the 2006 Armstrong with the Chatham Orthopedic Volleyball Classic. Presbyterian there with the point. They now trail by 2, 23-21. Palmer back to serve for Presbyterian. Miller passes to Stacy Yates. Back to Miller. Miller passes it over, and Presbyterian juggles it a little bit and eventually ends up losing the point. Miller is now back to serve for the Pirates. Remember, Miller led the first game with services as she had 3 services in the first game. Lanchester there with the attempt, and the block by Knuth and Vidovich go out of bounds. Point for the Presbyterian Blue Hose as they now are behind by 2, 24-22. Gill over to Nikki H. Passes it to her sister Stacy. Vidovich sends it over, and Mason passes it back over. Knuth is there with the chip right over the net to give Pirates points. Schmidtke checks in for Nikki Yates. She saw some good quality time there, and a good couple of points there with her sister on the floor. Knuth now set to serve. Pirates 25, Blue Hose 22. Lewis over to Lanchester. Lanchester over to Gill. Gill back over to Lewis. Schmidtke, the ultimate blocking machine there, recorded 3 blocks on that play. Lanchester and Gill both attempting to send the ball over. Schmidtke there with the block. And eventually the point. The Pirates now lead by 4, 26-22. Knuth to Lewis. Lewis passes to Hallrow. Miller passes to Stacy Yates over to Schmidtke. Mason able to do anything. Lewis sends it over. Yates sets up to Vidovich. Vidovich sends it long. Gets a block. But the block goes out of bounds. Point for the Pirates. They now lead by 5, 27-22. Knuth back to serve for the Pirates. Homer passes to Lewis. Lewis over to Hallrow. Gets a block by Schmidtke. Point for the Pirates. 28-22. Knuth back to serve for the Pirates. Serves long. Lewis passes to Mason. Mason sends it over. Miller with the amazing dig out of the floor there, but yet just not quite high enough to get it up to anybody else. As the point goes to Presbyterian, they now trail by 5, 28-23. Vidovich passes to Yates. Yates over to Falco. Falco gets it right into the net. And it's a point for Presbyterian now. As they're catching up, they're now trail by 4, 28-24. Hallrow back to serve for Presbyterian. Vidovich passes to Stacy. Stacy sends it over to back to Vidovich. Vidovich sends it over to Gill. Gill passes it right out of bounds. Point Pirates. Good and Thornton now to check in for the Pirates. Thornton does lead the team in service aces with 18, and that's why head coach Alan Siegel put her in. She's a serving machine. As Mason's pass over gets blocked by Schmidtke, and she gets whistled for being in the net. And that's the game, 30-24. Pirates take game number 2 from the Presbyterian Blue Hose, 30-24. And we will be back with action from game number 3 here shortly. So we will see you shortly in about 2 minutes. here. Game number 3 of the 2006 Chatham Orthopedics Classic for the Presbyterian College and the Armstrong State University Pirates. Matchup today. Some stats for you. Presbyterian, 21 kills, 16 assists, and 34 digs, as well as recording 5 assists. Total team blocks at 5 as well. So far, the Presbyterian are hitting collectively 24%. The Pirates have 21 kills, hitting 0.99%. 17 assists, 28 digs, 10 service aces, which is a season-high game record. Also, 15 blocks is a season-high record for the season-high individual game record for the Pirate, or match record for the Pirates, and we have 11 so far. As Presbyterian racks up the first point of game number 3. Vidovich there with his turnover, and Mason unable to contain it and control it. She passes it right out of bounds. Points Pirates. Vidovich back to serve for the Pirates, so we're tied 1-1 in game number 3. Vidovich's serve is long and out of bounds. Presbyterian racks up and takes the lead again in game number 3. I want to remind you fans to stay tuned to 7 o'clock tonight when the Pirates will be back in action. They will face Florida Southern. And if you guys have been following Pirate volleyball for a while, you know that's a pretty good matchup usually. They play every year in their tournament, and it's usually a really good game. Usually goes into about 5 games or so. A match day, and they usually it's really good volleyball there. So we'll be bringing you that action live. Some interesting news for you here now. Christina Flores is now switched to be the libero for the Pirates, replacing Station Flores as the libero. Flores there with the serve and the point to put the Pirates up by 2-4-2. Palmer passes it to Lewis, but it's long and out of bounds. Point Pirates. Pirates now lead 5-2. Flores, the senior from Madison, Illinois. 4-year player for head coach Alan Siegel, and enjoying her last year here at Armstrong. As the Pirates lose a point there, they're ahead now by 2-5-3. Good sends it over. Lewis passes it to Gill. Gill over to Hallward, gets it blocked by Good. Good passes it to Thornton. Thornton sends it over to Chaponi, and Chaponi sends it over. Sends it long and over the net for Presbyterian point, and now behind by 1, 5-4. Mason. Thornton over to Canoose. Canoose into Palmer. Palmer passes it. Goes high, out of bounds. Hits the bleachers on the left-hand side of the floor there. Point for the Blue Hose, or excuse me, for the Pirates, as they lead 6-4. And Stacy Yates back to serve for the Pirates. Palmer's pass out of control. Point Pirates. Pirates lead 7-4. Yates passes it over to Lewis. Sets it up for number 6, Van Dusen. He's blocked. Spike goes out of bounds for point Presbyterian as Palmer serves it there. Yates passes it over to Vidovich. Vidovich sends it over. Palmer unable to dig it up high enough so anybody helped it. And it's a point for the Pirates there. As Nikki Chaponi, who checked in the 3rd game here, back to serve for the Pirates, who lead 8-5. Chaponi. Palmer over Lewis. Goes to Winchester. Winchester sends it to Ciccone. Ciccone unable to grasp control of that as it goes out of bounds. Or as it falls in the court. Point for the Presbyterian. The opposed Gill serves Presbyterian 6-8. Gill serves just at the end of the court. Point Presbyterian as they now trail by 1, 7-8. Gill. Flores passes to Yates. Yates, who sends over to Vidovich. Vidovich sends over. Canute to Yates. Back over to Vidovich. Vidovich spikes down right at the feet of number 11, Lauren Mason. Point for the Pirates and now lead 9-7. Canute back to serve for the Pirates. Canute tries to get a short one over the net there. Ends up hitting the net, giving Presbyterian the point and the serve as they're behind by 1. Hollis sends it short and into the net, giving Pirates the point and the serve as they now fall behind by 2. The Pirates lead 10-8. Falco and Stacey Yates coming out of the game. Lauren Good, Schmidtke, and Margaret Thornton in the game now. Thornton to Palmer. Palmer passes it out of bounds. Can't control her pass though. It goes out of bounds. Pirates now ahead, 11-8. Thornton back to serve for the Pirates. Thornton serve is long. Presbyterian stop, looks at it. Gill and Palmer says it's out. Oh no, it was a good 3 or 4 feet inside the boundary there. Point Pirates as they lead 12-8. Thornton back to serve for the Pirates. Thornton is the junior setter from Hesperia, California. 3-year player for head coach Alan Siegel. As Thornton takes a wayward pass out of bounds there. Point Presbyterian. They're now behind by 3. And Lanchester for Presbyterian steps up to serve. Vidovich passes to Thornton. Thornton sets up for Schmidtke. Schmidtke sends it long and out of bounds. Point Presbyterian. Presbyterian now falls within 2. 12-10. Yeah. Lanchester serves short and into the net. Point Pirates. Randy Vidovich back to serve for the Pirates. Mason. It's Lewis back over to Mason. Mason spikes it home. Point Presbyterian. 13-11. Lewis. Vidovich passes to Thornton. Thornton sends over Schmidtke. Schmidtke sends it home. And Hollera is unable to pull that one out of the ground. Point Pirates. Pirates now lead 14-11 in game number 3 of today's match. Lewis. Over to Mason. Mason gets her shot blocked by Canute and Good causes Presbyterian to take a timeout as Presbyterian behind 15-11. We'll take one with them. timeout. Game number 3 is Presbyterian trails 15-11 with Christina Flores. The libero of game number 3 is back to serve for the Pirates. Holler passes to Lewis. Lewis over to Gill. Gilson gets it blocked by Good and Canute. Point Pirates. Pirates ahead 16-11 now. Flores back to serve for the Pirates. Flores' serve is long. Palmer ducks underneath the serve there and it goes out of bounds. Point Presbyterian. Mason back to serve for the Blue Hose of Presbyterian. Two serves. Chaponi passes to Thornton. Over to Vidovich, sends it over. Lewis sets up for Holler, sends it long. And it's tipped. Couldn't quite see who was tipped off on there. Point Presbyterian as they now trail 16-13. Mason back to serve for the Blue Hose. Mason. Vidovich to Thornton. Thornton over to Chaponi. Chaponi sends it over. Mason able to get it to Gill, who's sitting on the far side, the near side of the floor there. Point Pirates make substitutions here. Stacy Yates and Rachel Falco replace Thornton and Lauren Good. Stacy Yates back to serve for the Pirates. Pirates are ahead 17-13, game number 3. Mason over to Lewis. Lewis over to Holler. Chaponi there with the attempted dig. Unsuccessful as it goes into the net. Pirates lose a point in the serve. Palmer back to serve for Presbyterian. They still trail 17-14. Chaponi. Vidovich. Back over to Chaponi. He sends it over. Lanchester over to Gill. Lanchester gets listed for carrying, double hitting, excuse me there. And Pirates back to serve now. Chaponi back to serve. Pirates lead 18-14. Chaponi. Palmer passes to Lewis. Lewis sets up for Lanchester. Ball's long out of bounds there. Point Pirates. And Presbyterian calls a timeout. They trail 18-15. We'll take one with them. We're back from the timeout. Presbyterian trails 19-14. There we go. They corrected the score from before the timeout. 19-14. Chaponi is back to serve for the Pirates in game number 3 of the Orthopedics Volleyball Classic in 2006. Chaponi. Bouncing. Palmer passes to Lewis. Lewis sets up for Hollera. Sends it short. Vidovich with the dig there. Stacy Yates back over to Vidovich. Sends it to the end. Inbounds. Pirates lead 20-14 now. Chaponi bounces. Sets the serve. Sends it short to Jessica. Holler set to Lewis. Lewis sends it to Lanchester. Lanchester sends it over and the Pirates bobble it, lose a point. Presbyterian now gets to serve as Gill steps back to serve for Presbyterian, who trail 15-20. Gill. Chaponi passes to Stacy Yates. Falco sends it over short. Right past the jumping hands of Lanchester there. Point for the Pirates. They now lead 21-15. And senior outside hitter Tracy Canoe steps up. Lewis. And the hollow sends it long, out of bounds. Point for the Pirates. They now lead 22-15. Canoe. Manchester gets hurt. Gets him blocked by Schmidtke and Vidovich here. Palmer unable to handle the rebound there. And Pirates now lead 23-15 in game number 3 as Canoe steps back to serve. Lewis sets up for Lanchester. Lanchester sends it right between a diving Tracy Canoe and Stacey Yates. Stacey Yates seemed to be holding her wrist, shaking it. It looks like she might be injured. I don't know. We'll come back if we have more action. We're going to take a timeout real quick. We'll be right back. We're back from that timeout. Looks like Stacey Yates is all right. Probably just a little shaken up, jamming her finger or something. Pirates lead 23-16. And the Presbyterian Blue Hose get to serve. Allrose back to serve for the Blue Hose. Vidovich passes Yates. Yates sends it over. Passes it to Ciccone. Ciccone gets ripped up for double hitting. Point Presbyterian. Paula. Ciccone with Yates. It's over Schmidtke. And Presbyterian unable to control anything there as they get a point. As Pirates get a point. They now lead 24-17. Thornton back to serve for the Pirates. Lewis over to Hallra. Ciccone to Thornton. Thornton sets up for Good. Good sends it over. Hallra to Lewis. Lewis to Mason. Vidovich unable to do anything with it. Presbyterian serve. Lanchester steps back to serve. Vidovich to Thornton. Thornton over to Good. Tips it over. Gill pulls it up, though. Mason. Thornton passes it to Vidovich. Hallra to Lewis. Over to Mason. Sends it over. Ciccone to Good. Back over to Ciccone. Lewis sets up for Mason. Gets her blocked by Schmidtke. Gill there with the rebound. Sends it over the net. Out of bounds. Pirate point. Pirates now lead 25-18 in game number 3. Vidovich. Lewis passes it to, looks like confusion there between Hallra and Mason. The Presbyterian point for the Pirates. Pirates lead 26-18. Vidovich. Lewis sets up for Mason. Mason there with the sender. Good, and Canoe was there with the block, but nobody was there for the rebound off the block. Point Presbyterian, they now trail 26-19. Schmidtke sends it over. Gill unable to do anything with it to save it. Point for the Pirates. 27-19. see. Thornton sets up for Vidovich. Vidovich sends it over. Holler there with the uncontrollable pass out of bounds. Pirates now lead 28-19. Game number 3. Libero Flores back to serve for the Pirates. Holler up to Van Dusen over to Gill. Gill is it over. Thornton passes over to Good. Good sent over to block. Vidovich there with it. And there's a whistle for 4 hits on the Pirates. Point Presbyterian. Presbyterian now down by 8. Mason. Chaponi over to Thornton. Thornton over to Good. Good tips it over. Number 10, Palmer there with the pass over and out of bounds. Good now back to serve. Palmer. Van Dusen to Mason. Vidovich. Canoes. Thornton tips it right over in front of the feet of number 11 Mason. And that's the game, 30-20. Armstrong takes that from Presbyterian. Armstrong takes 3 games from Presbyterian. First game 30-27. Second one 30-24. And the final one 30-20. We'll be right back with some final statistics for you, so stay tuned.